Hey everyone, welcome back to Film Talk. I'm Eliana Melendez, and I'm here joined by my beautiful co-host Josie Melendez. And today we're going to talk about A24's latest film and first animated feature film, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, directed by Dean Fleischer-Camp and starring Jenny Slate. Um, I'm just gonna jump right into it. It's so cute. Marcel the Shell is very cute. It's a stupid little shell that pulled it off. And I got his fucking little sticker over here. Okay? Okay, we've gotten that out of the way. If you don't know what Marcel the Shell is, Marcel is an adorable 1 inch tall shell who ekes out a colorful existence with his grandmother Connie and their pet Lint, Alan. Once part of a sprawling community of shells, they now live alone as the sole survivors of a mysterious tragedy. But when a documentary filmmaker discovers them amongst the clutter of his Airbnb, the short film he posts online brings Marcel millions of passionate fans, as well as unprecedented dangers and a new hope at finding his long lost family. Let me tell you about this stupid little shell called Marcel. This is based on adapted, more or less the same, on some short films that went viral about 11, 12 years ago on YouTube, and also like titled Marcel the Shell, and they were stop motion. And it was so successful that for 7 years, Dean Fleischer-Camp and his co-creator, basically Jenny Slate, worked with, I think, various different studios to try to get the full feature film made. And it was an uphill battle to the point that they even wanted to pair up Marcel the Shell with Ryan Reynolds on like some buddy cop movie. And it's just, they wanted to commercialize it, and it's not that kind of story. So I'm really happy that A24 picked it up last year at Telluride's Film Festival, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a children's movie that is, I think, perfect for all ages. I call it the Lego of movies. Ages what, 0 to 99? Is that
0 to
Legos?
99.
Exactly. It's just a very, very tender. It's very genuine. It touches some heavy subject matter that I think everyone can relate to at any age. We've been seeing a little bit of talk where people consider this not appropriate to children. I think it is, because there are some children that have to grow up more than they should.
A lot of people were saying this film might be too mature for younger audiences, but we also. That's when the people criticizing animation don't see the point. Because a lot of people are like, it happened with Soul as well, where people are like, oh, this is too much for kids. And it's like, give kids more credit. Kids understand more than you expect. And also, the things and the conflicts and the aspects of his story that Marcel faces aren't exclusive to adulthood and maturity. There are a lot of kids that do experience loss at a young age. Grief and loss is not exclusive to a specific age. We all go through losses, and I think that's the most beautiful aspect of this film. But also, some people grow up with their grandparents. Some people, when they're young, like their parents are either not in the picture or they're always at work. Sometimes some kids do grow up with their parents, and that is a whole different way of living and experiencing life through the eyes of your elders, because sometimes when kids go through that, they sound more mature, which is it contributes a lot to the way Marcel expresses himself throughout the film, because most of the time, like, he spends his time with his grandmother Connie.
Yes, it's just, and it really adds to the charm of it, aside from like the kind of heavier and perhaps sadder connotations of all of that. It adds to Marcel's personality. Marcel is a very, very courageous, very expressive, and pretty much an extroverted little shell who, it's not that he's unafraid of the challenges and like new adventures, but he likes to push himself, and he loves his grandmother so dearly. And the only like the conflicts that we see in the movie that Marcel has to face are not so much of him being afraid for himself, but it's more afraid for the person that he cares about. And I think that's something that's just so relatable. And honestly, Marcel is such a standout character that genuinely I think it's one of the most endearing things I've seen in a very long time, and one of the best films of the year. And not only is Marcel like the protagonist, super funny, super clever, very, very smart. His grandmother Connie is also such a great character because she brings out, obviously she's gonna bring in a little bit more of the maturity in the story, but she also brings out a lot of humanity into it, and it just helps tie everything together into a very, very lovely, sincere story that is not too long, not too short. It's like a crisp 90 minutes, isn't it?
Yes.
Josie Core. It is a Josie Core film.
And I just really loved Isabella Rossellini as Connie. There are just aspects to that story that are so wholesome, and the entire film is wholesome. It's what makes it so great, and it's the reason why you should watch it. But I think the best part is that despite the fact that some people might call it predictable because you know where the story is going, but still, it's about the journey getting there. It's about seeing Marcel face his fears, especially his fear of change and of loss, and coming out of it stronger and gaining more than his losses, which is such a beautiful story to tell, because at times when you feel like life is a despair and there's nothing good coming along the corner and you're trying to protect the little good that you have, there will be good around the corner. And it's just so nice to be able to see Marcel be able to conquer that and get what he wants, but also like meet his heroes. I think that was my favorite part. No spoilers.
That's precious. No spoilers, because genuinely we went in pretty much blind when we went to see this movie, and I think that's kind of the best way to do it. Just know that you're gonna laugh your ass off because it is genuinely very clever, super funny right off the get-go. Take tissues, because it's honestly it's gonna I'm translating from Spanish to English now. It's going to touch your heart. It's so touching. It really is. So I think anybody can watch it. I think most people can find some enjoyment from it. Yes, it is predictable. It's not a complicated story by any means, but because the characters are so well developed and so well written, we know what's coming, and yet we still are terrified of it. It's like, I know how this is gonna end, and it's not gonna be good. I'm so afraid. It ends up being you're being more afraid for the well-being of the characters than the characters themselves at that point.
But also, like,
It's good writing.
It's also very reflective of life in terms of this. Sometimes you can see those things coming, and you're just preparing yourself mentally, but you can't really prepare yourself for when it happens. And that's pretty much how it is with the film. And also, just if you're gonna see, like, if you're gonna see a movie right now, after you try to pull up, you commit to the bit of showing up to Minions in a suit, head on over and watch Marcel the Shell.
That's a double feature.
Yes, the Minions will not judge you.
No, the Minions will be okay. Thank you. You brought back the Minions.
I brought back this is the second time we're recording this review, and let me just say, a star is born.
We want a Marcel. A24, hire us. We will be your product managers, your merchandisers. Make a little Marcel. There it is. USB drive. That's precious. I already have the sticker, which we didn't even get a Marcel the Shell screening. We just got it at the movie theater because we showed up.
Yeah, we just
have to be there.
We were gonna see another movie, and then we just see they're handing out stickers because there's a Marcel screening happening at the same time, and I was like, damn, do I want to see Marcel the Shell again? Are we going to sneak in? We didn't. Honestly. But I wanted to, because it's just such a good film. I want to see it again.
It's very, I find it like quite rewatchable. Like there's joy to take out of it every single time, because again, as much as it is about grief and loss, it's beautiful.
Yeah, just the humor. So because the film, like, Marcel the Shell with shoes on is a film about loss and grief, but most importantly about hope. It is a film like full of humor and like elevating the importance of community, and how just no matter what happens, there will always be someone there for you. You won't be alone, because that's what he found. Even though Marcel was technically alone because he lost his community, he still had his grandmother, and he also made a new friend that wanted to help him. So that's also good. But it just speaks a lot on community, because there's also that aspect when Marcel goes viral that he realizes, like, none of these people are helping me, like, find them or anything. They're just kind of using me in a way.
They're just entertained. Yeah, just commenting empty things like peace and love.
Of course I love peace. What am I gonna say? War? Oh, I'm a big fan of war.
I'm a big war person. That's how I sign everything off. Let the battle begin, Marcel.
Yeah.
These quotes will make sense when you watch it. They are quite funny.
Have you ever had a raspberry? And what was that like?
I love it. I love this little dude's energy. This little shell. He's so curious. He's so this little dude. He's a little dude.
He's just a shell with a googly eye and some shoes on. Anyways, the best gift you can give yourself right now is a ticket to see this movie.
Absolutely. And not only yourself, those around you, those you care about, those you want to have just a good time. Again, very clever, very funny. It always reminds you that Marcel is a tiny little 1-inch tall shell, and that is how he navigates the world. So you see all like these crazy gadgets and inventions that Marcel and his grandma come up with to like survive and get around this empty house, like when the house was empty. And it's, again, it as predictable, quote unquote, as it is, it still surprises you with all the details that they poured into it. So
you can see things coming, and yet you're like, oh, please no. You're still surprised. You still go through the motions with the film.
It's wrapped in a really interesting package.
It's good storytelling. What else can I say?
Absolutely. So, anyways, I think we've gone on long enough about this little shell.
Best Picture nomination. I don't think it'll get it, but it should.
I would love for it to. I mean, come on, Everything Everywhere All at Once, back to back with Marcel the Shell. Such a banger.
They're probably just gonna put all their money into Everything Everywhere All at Once. I would love Marcel the Shell
I don't mind
for Best Animated Feature, but that's a tricky area we're walking through, because if you look up, they do talk about the process. Like, there are different layers to it. Like, they first filmed the area, then they would add everything in through animation. So it was animated stop motion through CGI animation. It wasn't actual stop motion.
Really creative.
Yeah. So they could control like the lighting and everything and make it like it still looks like legitimate stop motion. So that's an interesting aspect, but it does have real people. So that's a tricky subject, kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Chippendale, Space Jam, etc. But I wouldn't mind.
Looney Tunes. It's all about that. But yeah, I think it still counts as an animated movie because we're mostly focusing on Marcel, but that's just me. What do I know? But yeah, I think genuinely, whether it's considered animation, like an animated feature or not, Best Picture material. I think it's something for all. It's got something for all ages. It's very balanced, good combo. Jenny Slate kills it with her voice acting. I think it really just makes the character, aside from like the witty dialogue. So really, really good. And I can't say anything else about it. Just go watch it. It's genuinely one of the most unique movies you'll probably see all summer, if not all year, including Everything Everywhere All at Once. But we've already gone on enough about that. So where can they find you, Miss Josie?
You can find me at the Josie Marie on Twitter and Letterboxd.
And you can find me at Captain Melendez on Twitter and Letterboxd as well. And you can subscribe here on the YouTube channel and turn on the notifications bell, and follow us on Twitter, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. We are just kind of getting things back together, oiling our gears, grinding our gears. I don't know the sayings anymore. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed. If you enjoyed this review, please let us know and down in the comments below, respectfully. And let us know if there's anything else you want us to review or talk about, whether it be like a one-shot video or on the podcast. Anyways, bye.
Bye.